The Tzemach Tzedek writes in regards to the passing of the Alter Rebbe that it was on Moitzoi Shabbos Kodesh of Parsha Shmos, which was Chav Gimel Teves, going into Chav Dalet Teves. He writes that it was about 10:30 at night. The Rebbe tells us that we know that generally all the Yomim Tovim are always connected to the Parsha of the week. Similarly, says the Rebbe, all the special days of Tzaddikim, their birthdays, their days of Ilula, are connected to the Parsha of the week. So we must say that in our case, even though the Histalkus of the Alter Rebbe is on Motzei Shabbos going into Parshas Va'era, but from the fact that the Tzemach Tzedek points it out as Motzei Shabbos Kodesh Parsha Shmos, it's understood that there must be a special connection between the Hilul of the Alter Rebbe and Parsha Shmos. How do we understand it? Says the Rebbe, we know that the Teuchen of Parsha Shmos is all about the Golus, the slavery of the Yidden in Mitzrayim. The Parsha is beforehand. Vayigash, Vayechi, Yidden are already in Mitzrayim, but there isn't the Golus yet. The Parsha is afterwards. Va'era, boy, are already starting to speak about the Makos, the Geula, etc. But Shmos is basically all speaking about the Golus, the hard life that the Yidden had in Mitzrayim. Says the Rebbe, now we could start explaining the connection between the Histalkus of the Alter Rebbe and Parsha Shmos, because we know that the Alter Rebbe, his passing was in a state of Golus. He was running away, as the Tzemach Tzedek speaks about in the same letter. He was running away from the French, and there was all the troubles and bothers along the way, until eventually when the Alter Rebbe arrived in this village of Piena, where his Histalkus was. But to understand this a little bit more, what's the connection between the Alter Rebbe in his Avodah and this Avodah in the time of Golus specifically? Because we know that the Alter Rebbe writes, this is in Igeris HaKodesh, regarding the passing of a tzaddik, that at the time of his passing, all of his Maisim and Torah and Avodah are all go up above, and then they shine down into this world. Which tells us that the fact that the Alter Rebbe was nostalgic in Golus, there's because there's a special connection between his Avodah, which is all coming together and going to be shining now in the time of his Histalkus. It's all connected to the general Maila, to the general special quality of what Avodah in the time of Golus is all about. And that's why it's going to be connected to the Avodah in Parsha Shmos, a time of Golus. The Rebbe says, this will also explain why the very last Yutas Kislev, which is Rosh Hashanah l'Chassidus, the greatest Gili of Chassidus, the last Yutas Kislev of the Alter Rebbe was also in this same place of Golus, where it is that eventually he passed away. Because again, this idea of the Avodah in Zman HaGolus is especially connected to the Alter Rebbe's Avodah. How do we understand this? So first, we mentioned before that Shmos generally is a parsha of Golus. But first we need to understand something else. Seemingly, the name of the parsha, Shmos, which is names, is actually the opposite of the idea of Golus. And the Rebbe says for three reasons. Number one, Chazal tell us that as long as one of those people that are mentioned there, Ve'ela Shmos b'nei Yisrael, Haboyim Mitzrayim, as long as any of them were alive, there was actually no Golus. So Shmos seemingly is telling us that there's no room for Golus yet. Number two, Rashi tells us why the Yidden being called by Shmos, why they're being named over here, is to tell us how much Hashem loves them. Well, that seems to be an opposite idea of Golus. And finally, the Medrash tells us that all the names that are being mentioned over here, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, are all expressing ideas of Geula. Again, how do we understand that Shmos is really about the idea of Golus? Isn't Shmos an Indian of Geula? So the Rebbe says, this will be understood by first understanding the special quality that there is in the Avodah of the time of Golus. And that is, that this is the time where the Koyach of Mesiras Nefesh of a Yid is revealed. The Mesiras Nefesh, that absolute dedication and connection that a Yid has, which comes from his Yechidah, from the deepest part of his core essence of his soul. Specifically at the time when you don't have the revelation of godliness, and the Yid is not able to utilize necessarily all of his seichel, his intellect, his emotions and all of that. He doesn't see godliness. It is specifically at this time where that deeper part of his connection is revealed and connected to Hashem. In the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when godliness was revealed, the Yid was able to serve Hashem with his intellect, his emotions, etc. He didn't feel so much this Yechidah, this idea of Mesiras Nefesh. It's specifically when godliness is concealed, and there's all sorts of challenges and all sorts of concealments trying to stop us from fulfilling Torah mitzvahs. This is when the koyach of Mesiras Nefesh is aroused to overcome all of these difficulties and revealing our deepest bond with Hashem. And this is really what Golus Mitzrayim was all about as well, revealing that deep connection that a Yid has with Hashem. In fact, says the Rebbe, this is why this was the Hachana for Matan Torah, because the point of Matan Torah is that even in the lowliest places should be revealed the very, very etzem of godliness, to make the whole world a dira for Hashem. And this is what's happening in Golus Mitzrayim, when it's a place of darkness, and Dafka over here, our deepest connection to Hashem is being revealed. Says the Rebbe, this idea that the mile in the time of Golus, that even though godliness isn't revealed, but that's when the Etzem and Hashem is being revealed, is hinted in the whole concept of Shmos, of names. What's the idea of a name? We find two extremes. On the one hand, a name is only there for the other person to call us. For ourselves, we don't need the name at all. In fact, the name doesn't show on any revelation whatsoever. You have many people called by the same name, and you have no idea, based on the name, anything about the person. On the other hand, when you call the person turns to you with his whole essence. Furthermore, a person faints, Rahman al-Itzlan, how do you awaken him? It's dafka by calling his name. In other words, that the very essence of the person is expressed and revealed specifically in the name, which on the other hand, as we said, doesn't show any revealed connection to the person at all. So the etzem, the essence, is being revealed in a place where there's no gilui. Similar to the idea when we spoke about Golus, that the very essence of the Yid, when is it revealed? It's specifically in a time when there's concealments. Says the Rebbe, now we can also understand the connection between the avoid of the Alter Rebbe and the whole idea of Shmos and Golus. Just like there is the idea of the Yechidah, the essence of the soul in the person, there's also the Yechidah of the Torah, which is Torah Chassidus, and more specifically Chassidus Chabad. The Rebbe says, just like the Yechidah of the person, that's revealed specifically when all of the other faculties are concealed, in a similar way as the Yechidah of the Torah is revealed specifically when it needs to impact what Chassidus Chabad is doing, to impact also our Nefesh HaBahamis, our portion in the world, to transform even the lowliest of the low. Says the Rebbe, this is that common denominator between the Avodah of the Baal HaElul of the Alter Rebbe and the Avodah of the Zman HaGolus, that in both of them is expressed this idea of the revelation of the Yechidah, specifically in places where you don't have the revelation. The Rebbe says this is also connected to the name of the Alter Rebbe, Shnei Oyer Zalman. The Rebbe explains Shnei Oyer, the Baal Shem Tov told us about the Alter Rebbe, that he's going to illuminate the world with Shnei Oyer, with the two lights, the lights of Nigla, the Torah, and the light of the hidden part of the Torah. And the Chiddush of the Alter Rebbe, Shnei Oyer, that it's coming in one word, that he's combining the revealed and the hidden. The koyach for that, how do you combine Nigla and Nistar, is because really the Alter Rebbe was mamshach, he drew down the very essence of Torah, which is really higher than concealment, revelation, and that's why he could combine both of them together. And what does he do with all of this? Is the word Zalman. Zalman is the same letters as the word Lizman, which means time, which is connected to the world, which is time and space. In other words, the Alter Rebbe takes this greatest light, or higher than light, and he draws it down into the world. And the world should shine, in the Zalman, in the Lizman, should shine these Shnei Oyer. And Dafka, that's where the Yechidah is revealed. Like we said before, the Dafka in the place of the concealment is the place where the Yechidah, the deepest part of the Nefesh, and the deepest part of the Torah is revealed. The Rebbe now connects it also to Parshas Va'era. So the Rebbe says, on the one hand, we're speaking about very, very high levels, which are higher than revelation, and l'chayra, the only time it's being expressed somewhat is in a time of Golus and a time of concealment. But really, the ultimate is that all of these high levels should also come down in a revealed way, permeate the rest of our revealed faculties as well. So even though there's a mile in the avoid of Zman HaGolus, but the tachlis is there should be geula. In other words, the Yechidah should permeate all of our faculties in a revealed way. And this is also why we see that the whole idea of the Chassidus Chabad and the Alter Rebbe was to take all of these highest level, which are higher usually than Seichel and so on, but they nevertheless should shine down into our Seichel, into Midas in a revealed way. Says the Rebbe, this is what's hinted in the fact that the Histalkus was also going into Parshas Va'era, because Va'era is all about Hashem being revealed, saying Ani Havaya, that level which was previously concealed, that even the Avos didn't have it. And yet, now in Parshas Va'era is starting to be revealed that Hashem is saying Va'era with the level of Ani Havaya, that level which is higher than the Shtalshalos, to come in a revealed way, in completely expressing itself in this world as well.